Ben, thank you for joining us. Obviously, in slightly unusual circumstances, you find yourself as the interim head coach. Firstly, sort of how you feeling, and how you feeling taking the lads into the Bolton match at the weekend.
Yeah, good. Obviously, like loads of new experiences for me. The last 48 hours have been insane, so very eye-opening at the same time. Taking charge on the grass today is again like a bit different because you support the manager usually. So was good. Obviously, trying to support the players for a bit of a transition period, and being there, but also preparing for a big game on the weekend is not so easy, but it's something that we worked hard at, and we'll go again tomorrow.
Yeah, I suppose it's been a bit of a baptism of fire for you. I suppose only joining the coaching staff after a time from football earlier in the summer, and all of a sudden you find yourself sort of in the driving seat for a weekend. So, is that something that you're sort of excited for, or I suppose there's just a lot of emotions going through your head right now?
Yeah, I think excited, be a brilliant experience. I think it obviously makes a bit of sense just in terms of keeping a bit of continuity at the football club and helping to support the players with a face they know, and obviously I shared the dressing room with quite a few of them as well. So, been full on and not loads of time to think, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and I suppose it will probably help the fact that you worked with Scott for such a long time, not just as a coach but as a player as well. So that sort of, you've seen it on both sides, I guess, so that it could make this transition period slightly easier, I guess.
Yeah, definitely exposed to a lot of his ideas and a lot of the way we've done things, and obviously spent time studying my own coaching stuff as well, and I've known for a long time is what I've wanted to go into. So it's been good. It's been eye opening. Like I say, there's a lot behind the scenes that you probably don't get to see just even as a coach. So probably baptism of fire is a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously with Scott left a lot of the other coaching staff, so I suppose it's to some extent it's sort of bare bones down at the training ground. So you've obviously had to put yourself across all different departments, haven't you?
Yeah, been doing some analysis stuff, looking at a few different bits that probably wouldn't usually get involved with, just trying to check out the pitch actually before we leave the training ground just then to make sure hopefully it's going to be all right for tomorrow. So yeah, loads of different bits and bobs, obviously speaking with the ownership as well about various things and making sure we're in a good place. So yeah, full on.
Yeah, and obviously prep for an opposition, going to be a tough test, isn't it, this week against Bolton? And I suppose where you've worked so closely with the players, that's another different element, isn't it, having to then look at the opposition as well and, sort of figure out a game plan for the weekend.
Yeah, I think, like you say, so much going on and it feels like so little time in all honesty. But it's been good, it's been exciting. I've got help from people and I've lent on the guys around me and the senior players as well, in honesty, and it's important that I think they'll do that because they have loads of experience themselves and they're the ones that go out there in the grass, so I want their opinions and I want to know how they feel about stuff. But all eyes focused on Saturday and going and trying to get a positive result against a really good team.
Yeah, have the sort of players taken, today's session? I suppose it can come as a bit of a shock, isn't it, when a manager departs it? I suppose it'd be perfectly normal, but we've seen so far this season, obviously a lot of the lads were here last year as well, it's a very professional group, isn't it? So is it just sort of business as usual, really?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was important to acknowledge this morning that they probably would feel a little bit frustrated or anxious or upset or whatever, because that's normal. You build connections in this line of work. So we try to acknowledge that with the players, but also help them understand that we have a really big game Saturday and two more after that as well. So it's maybe a little bit cold-hearted, but you do have to move on quite quickly and get your focus on Bolton on the weekend.
Thank you, Ben.
Cheers. Were you surprised by the events this week, or did you feel it was like always inevitable Scott would move on from the job?
I think at some stage possibly, because it is normal, it happens. It's what people look to do in all walks of life is try to improve their situation, and you can argue whether it is or not, and that's down to you personally. He felt it was a good career move for him, and you have to respect that and wish him well, because he was obviously fantastic at this football club and achieved amazing things, and I think he'll be remembered here for a really, really long time. So yeah, it all happened quite quickly and I guess did come as a surprise in the moment, but was I surprised that he's going to move on at some point? Probably not. It wasn't something that was spoken about, but I think managers, you either get sacked or you move on. So that generally happens one way or the other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously this is a great opportunity for yourself. has it come to a bit too soon to become a sort of manager yourself, or are you looking to get a head coach role as soon as possible?
No, not as soon as possible. No, I definitely wouldn't say that. I think some people might, and I've also been wary of that because the ego can kick in occasionally. You can go, like, oh, I can give this a go, but I'm very wary that I would like to do it at the right time when it feels right. And in all honesty, I need to probably feel it a little bit, and I won't know until I've spent a little bit of time doing it. So the club have to make their own decision on what they want to do in the meantime. But it's a great opportunity, and I'm looking forward to sort of feeling it on Saturday afternoon and just trying to help the club really continue to move in a positive direction and get a result.
Yeah, and when we watch Crawley on Saturday, will we see touches of what a Ben Gladwin style is, or is it easier just to sort of just transition slowly and use what you've obviously is a winning formula that Scott's built here?
Yeah, I think first and foremost we're very aligned anyway. That's why we were able to work together for so long and built such a strong relationship. So no, I don't think you're going to see loads of differences. I mean, there definitely will be slight bits that I feel a little bit more comfortable with that the manager may not, and vice versa. But I don't think it's going to be something that you look at and go, like, I'm not going to start smashing the ball from back to front. That's for sure.
And obviously Scott was very meticulous in his analysis and all that, and he always talked about going into depth for the opposition and that. Did he pass on any notes for Bolton, any work he'd already done?
No, not yet. I might give him a buzz later on. But no, he hasn't. But he's been brilliant, and he sort of said, like, if you need anything, I'm here for you. But we feel pretty good, and it's important to expose yourself to it. And the analysis sort of stuff we were doing it anyway alongside the manager. So taking that on is full on. There's a lot of it to do. And it is eye-opening in that sense in terms of how much a head coach or a manager has to do for sure. But it's been good, and I think we're there or thereabouts in terms of the planning. It's got one more day to really get the ideas into the players, which will be important before the game. But no, it's been good.
Yeah, and Bolton have got a very similar record to what you have this season. What have you seen from them? What are their threats, and where can you think you can take advantage of them?
Well, listen, obviously fantastic season last season and just missing out. So maybe a bit of a slower start trying to recover from that. It often happens, but I think it's clear to see that they're obviously a very good side with big resources and a big history. So we know it's going to be a proper test, but we've faced a few of those already this season. I think sometimes the result's not gone our way, but the performance has been fantastic, and that is what we ask of the players is to have a really good performance, and we believe 9 times out of 10 you get to where you're going to be with a good performance. So we'll be going after the same again. And is it nice for you that you're able to get your teeth into 2 games very quickly when you're being given this position? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can argue both ways, right? Because it's nice to be on the training ground with the players as well. That's generally the most fun part about the job. Is being out there with the players and trying to improve them and that sort of stuff. But in terms of experiencing what a manager gets to experience, you go straight into two tough games, and that'll be brilliant as well. And we can see if we can get the team where they need to be for those games. Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. Good luck, Saturday. Top man. Cheers.